Okay, so today I'm going to hijack part of Dowsey's recent VHS video. Give it a watch. The link is, of course, in the description. In it, he mentions that the games, although in the same genre, are very different experiences. So today we're going to dive a little bit deeper into that conversation to help other Dead by Daylight refugees adjust to the world of VHS. Because even though you can't play the game right now, knowing what to expect when you get more information will help you keep your expectations and hype in check.
Space Coconut.
First, let's look at the clip.
I think that if you are going into VHS expecting it to be a Dead by Daylight clone or replacement, it really offers something very different to Dead by Daylight, which is why it's the perfect competitor to Dead by Daylight, because it is different and it will allow people to choose the game that they like to play or switch between the two because you're getting different experiences from each. And that's the thing I like a lot about VHS.
This is a very important aspect to understand. VHS and DVD are different games in the same genre. One important difference between the two is the time crunch in Dead by Daylight compared to VHS. The pressure of gens going off one after the other, the killer needing to manage all of the things happening in a match to slow survivors down as much as possible, and survivor streamers generally having plenty of time to chill and chat with their stream while they play. The match ends when either the survivors are eliminated or they complete the gens and escape the match. The time pressure is created by the gens being completed, which is placed squarely on the killer's shoulders. In VHS, there is time pressure, but it's not locked to a specific role and it changes between them as the state of the match changes. The game ends when either of the opposing sides are eliminated, which means there's no actual clock in the match. Wasting the monster's time can allow the other teams to complete their weapons, but the monster with its defensive abilities and player skill could still make those weapons useless with the right tactical strategy. As a team player, time is not on your side like it is in Dead by Daylight. So as either role, you have time to formulate a plan of attack and execute it to the best of your ability. The second most important difference between the two is the impact of player skill. There are many factors that come into play when playing skillfully in VHS. First, you have the basics, knowing the maps and the best routes and hiding spots, understanding the weapons and their weaknesses, and understanding the monsters and their weaknesses. Then comes gameplay knowledge, learning how to track teams, learning how to lose the monster, the best paths to take to avoid detection, how to respond when a monster uses their tracking ability, and so on. Basically, the obvious stuff. Next, you get into tactics, when to use which weapons, when to claim the rift, when to use your abilities, and how to coordinate an attack against a monster, or how to break up a group of teens' defenses. No particular monster, no perk setup, weapon selection, mutation or mod choices, or even your coordinated group won't make a match an easy win if you happen to be paired up against an equally skilled opponent. At least that's the way it seems at this stage of game development. Who knows what people will discover once everyone gets to play. My point here is that skill is more important in VHS than it is in Dead by Daylight, primarily because of the next, possibly most important difference: the balance choices. VHS is designed and balanced with high skill players and gameplay in mind. Yes, that sounds like a recipe for disaster, but so far it's a very rewarding experience. My first few nights playing as both roles, I was practically useless to the team I was on and easily beaten as the monster. This is the way it should be, right? A new player shouldn't be able to pick up the game and start winning right away. After a week or so, I picked up on some of the tricks that the other players used and deciphered some of my own on top of making bad plays and learning a lesson from them. You've heard Jay and Dowsey talk about a 34-minute match, right? Well, there are two reasons why I lost that match. The first is because they had set up a defensive position at a fire station, so the third team could create a fire weapon, which was my final stigma. One team had a staff which would stun me, and the other had a sunstone, which is an excellent defensive fire weapon. I armored up and leapt in at a particular point in the cafeteria, but I didn't get the distance I needed because of the tables in the way. The holy weapon broke the armor, and the sunstone finished me off. I lost that match with a perfect point score, so I was still rewarded for my performance even though I lost, which felt pretty good. Now I plan to play Teen and use the Sunstone to find its weaknesses so I know how to counter it if I ever find myself trying to break the Teen's defense again. The second reason is because I forgot the conditions that I needed to meet in order to take a Teen out of the match. Let me explain. I've adopted a hit and release playstyle. Since teens have HP bars, each hit removes a bit of it. Hitting a teen and letting them go doesn't create a net loss like it does in Dead by Daylight. Instead, they've lost that HP and are closer to being eliminated. I also build rage, and as long as I don't get hit by a weapon, the fourth teen I hit should be downed because the rage meter would be full. The thing that I forgot was that the teens need to be hit twice to be downed and eliminated if their HP bar is critical. One hit isn't going to do the job. I kept hitting them and letting them go, thinking that maybe they'd go down the next time I hit them. Unfortunately, at the end of the match, if you find yourself in a similar situation, tunneling becomes a necessity to take out the teens. Otherwise, they heal and simply can't be downed without being enraged. The point here is that I learned what I did wrong and gained play experience from it. From that experience, I gained more skill and therefore should do better in future games. While it's debatable, I don't think that skillful gameplay exists in Dead by Daylight because it's not designed nor balanced for it. Yes, I did crazy stuff with Hag once in a while, but for the most part, I just denied loops. At its foundation, VHS is designed for high skill play. While certainly unappealing to some players, it opens up many more possibilities, especially as content for Twitch and YouTube for the people willing to put time into it, which is actually the most important similarity that VHS has with Dead by Daylight. Survivor gameplay is boring. But what are the most common videos on YouTube for DBD? Play highlights from the Survivor perspective, mostly memeing on killers. In VHS, those play highlights are going to center more around skillful plays and epic comebacks. I can say this for certain because my matches against Jay, Dowsey, Granny, Snow Lily, Flesh Immortal, Skeletor, Vanguard, TechSmith, JKY Mark, Jakey Mark, maybe? Farmer John and the devs are always crazy matches. Sometimes I win, sometimes I lose, but those matches are always fun to play, and the people who are watching are always excited to see how it ends. It sure would be nice if the devs let us show you an exhibition match between streamers, huh? That's kind of an idea, right? Right? A match in VHS is a joy to watch, which is going to make content very similar to DBD content, which in turn will bring attention from a wider audience to the game, even from people not interested in playing the game. This is what will help propel VHS into the wider public's eye, rather than being trapped in the bloody horror genre niche that DBD resides in. But when you decide to give VHS a try, make sure that you leave your DBD experience, tactics, and baggage behind. VHS is a completely different ride, and for those of us trying to escape the fog of behavior, this is exactly the experience we need right now. Let me know what you thought of this video in the comments below, and since you probably liked the video, hit the button and sub for more VHS content in the future. I'll be talking about anything I can get away with, so you won't want to miss that. Right now I'm working on a Wart deep dive, talking about all of his details and tactics that I've learned while playing him. It completely breaks the NDA, so I'll only release it when it's safe to do so. But I'm sure you won't want to miss that, so hit the bell too. Until next time, I'm Space Coconut, and you're welcome.